The year has been 2012.
There is no business in these days.
365 days of hard work and dedication for Ugandans to deliver for the Pearl of Africa.
2012, the economy has been bad.
8,760 hours of hard work and dedication in order to alleviate poverty amid economic troubles for the country.
It has been a very difficult year.
2012 has been a hard year for Ugandans in terms of income and expenditure. The economy performance started with a hangover from 2011 financial crisis as the shilling nosedived into dollar suffocation. The first quarter of the year was characterized by side shocks of unmatched inflation levels of 2011 that sent the interest rates to the ceiling, with local currency depreciating against the dollar. Exchange rate shot up at almost 3,000 Uganda shillings per dollar, thus slowing down any constructive efforts to stimulate growth in the treasury.
The growth generally in the financial was 3.2. It really reduced, we had been growing at around 6%. So it reduced by almost 50%.
This spillover process was manifested by lack of growth at household level as the cost of doing business raised. Banks in return responded by raising borrowing rate, some taking advantage of the situation to make more profits by charging 35% on existing borrowers.
A lack of basic needs in households in the competitiveness of businesses. High interest rates meant high cost of doing business. The business people do not have sufficient leverage in accessing funds, in being able to buy money in these banks. So the cost of borrowing also went into the ceiling, and of course the competitiveness of businesses. As you know, the business environment now is really very, very unfavorable. It is not good.
Ministries ran to the treasury through parliament with supplementary budgets as public servants demanded for more pay. Weather shocks affected food production, with Uganda Bureau of Statistics registering high inflation figures across the country.
We have had serious problems, even with the members of parliament wanting supplementary budget for the health sector, even before budgets are approved.
The public had to carry the burden by cutting on the expenditure and paying more on what they had borrowed, with economists calling on the government to check its expenditure.
The spending patterns of government need to be reviewed, because if you look at the agriculture sector, for example, which employs more than 70% of the population, still remaining largely primary sector and not attracting sufficient resource outlays in the national budget.
The actors within the government start repositioning themselves in terms of expenditures, but whether government institutions are flexible to the extent of trimming their budgets to fit within the existing resources is yet another issue.
Though inflation was contained by October below 5%, the projected government implementation of its resource envelope for financial year 2012-2013 is already in jeopardy as domestic collection continues to register shortfalls. Now, with Uganda Revenue Authority failing to meet the resource it committed itself to raise each month, economists argue that government has to stop and check the expenditures, especially on new districts.
Subject to what the discussions with the government are going to do with the donors, it is going to determine the extent to which the budget is going to be implemented.
Are thinking that it's creating jobs. Can the district create jobs? What creates jobs? A district can never create jobs. Jobs are created by factories, jobs are created by industries, jobs are created by businesses, and if you want, the growth of the economy, particularly the private sector.
As the country was healing from the wound of inflation, there came the multi-billion scandals of corruption in the public service and the office of the Prime Minister. This angered donors, making them withdraw their economic pills on whose 30% of the budget depends. This decision by donors is already exerting pressure on the shilling, opening up a major highway for another round of inflation.
The suspension of aid is also exerting extra pressure on the Uganda shilling, and given the fact that our country or our economy actually depends a lot on imports, then we are going to see inflation actually again increasing.
Contrary, Professor Nwagava believes that donors are the cause of problems for this country.
They continue telling them money is being stolen. Money is being stolen. They continue pumping money. Money is stolen. They continue pumping the money. If this money is not pumped from here, what would be the countervailing factor? But if you're going to have Vision 2040 with this level of corruption and thieving, actually robbery, broad day robbery of government finances, and you tell me that you are going to go to 2040, this is a very big lie and a very big joke.
As we close the year 2012, no predictions can be made as per now on how 2013 economic performance may be, as it appears the economic year may also inherit the spillover of 2012 economic mess.
It is now high time to do, and one of the things to do is actually to stop corruption and this robbery of government treasury and government departments, and if this robbery continues at these levels, it is going to put the country at very, very serious jeopardy, and nobody knows what can follow later.
Kenneth Bwire, WBS News.